All right. So with that, we move on to our last session where, so having looked at, the capabilities of Sunbird enabled to various building blocks, and also some examples of some reference apps, how does it all come together, right, in terms of the actual adoption? So now this is the last session before we go to the concluding part, where invite Rakesh to talk about how have organizations adopted Sunbird and leveraging it for their needs.
Thanks, Salil. So I think till now we covered about Sunbird building blocks. Jagdish talked about the big Sunbird adopters, including Diksha also. So in the interest of time, let me try to cover the journey of building world's largest and most diverse government-led education platform. And while doing this, probably let me try to share the learning recipe and probably a secret sauce. It would be useful for other adopters also when they start building and leveraging Sunbird. So I'll now read the numbers. Just to give you a context of India's K-12 education ecosystem, it's very diverse, very complex. We're talking about 250 million plus students, some 94 million plus teachers. And if we can compare with the population, only 3 countries, I think US, China, and Indonesia, having population more than our K-12 people. So you can imagine the scale. And these numbers are available on diksha.gov.in also. You can go and see the daily usages. So in a, I think, short span of 3 years, Diksha, adopted by almost all states and UTs, including central bodies like NCERT, CBSE, NIOS, and all. And if you see the next slide, so in May 2020, Diksha was #1 free education app, and still it's a leading app on a Play Store. So this is the institutional setup of Diksha. So if you see, the program sponsor is MOE, Government of India. NCERT is a central program owner, and by annual PAB process of allocation of budget, every state get a budgets, and every state and tenants, apart from using programs designed by a center, they have autonomy to use and build their own programs. Now, coming on the secret sauce of last 3 years journey was a program approach. So centers, states, what they have done based on the policy, based on the guidance, based on the annual plan, and based on the intent, both center and states, they configure programs. And while going for the scale, we follow a very structured approach. So experiment, we learn from experiment, we go for the pilot, then we go for the scale. And this gives us a flexibility also, probably do some tweaking when going for a scale. Okay. And while doing this, you can also get a benefit of making it a very bigger, better, cost-effective, and faster. So the program management part. So basically, if you see, Diksha has a very strong program management unit. So whatever we do, any program, so we build SOPs, we build packages, we build templates, so that at a state level, adoption can happen smoothly at a state headquarter, district, and a block. And if they're making content strategies suiting their local requirement, how do you source content, and how Sunbird capability can be used, like Kamesh talked about Vidya Dan approach. And also outreach is a very important part. When we're doing our programs, we need to ensure adoption is happening at the ground zero in a very smooth manner. So let me walk you through under 2 important big programs on Diksha. So this is ETB, another textbook. So as we speak, 60 crore textbook is being delivered to students in this tough COVID time. And every book has a QR code at a chapter level, some topic level also. And behind QR code, we have a variety of content, diverse content, starting from PDF of a book, interactive content, videos, assessments, so on and so forth. And these are available in 30 plus different languages, and we have more than 1.5 lakh content available as of now. Now, Nistha program, it's a kind of a world record on Diksha. So in a short span of 3 months, 25 lakh teachers is being trained on Diksha on 18 different modules in different languages. So again, the program approach play a very important role here. So before launching a national scale, NCERT has done a small pilot. We got a learning. We done some minor correction going for a scale. And again, NCERT is planning for Nistha for foundation learning and Nistha for secondary. And now we are exploring about different options, like can we make it fully online, or we can make it online plus blended approach also. So this is a possibility available. Now, if you see these major programs running on Diksha, and these all programs, I think my colleagues are already captured in the previous sessions. So they all are using different capability of Sunbird, like like learning assets, question bank, discovery of assets, sourcing, digital credentials, and again, a telemetry part. So in summary, the recipe of Diksha journey is key. You please consider your policies, see your intent for your plan key. Okay, you want to train your target audience. It can be farmers, it can be MSME workers, it can be other stakeholder. You probably, since it's an unbundled approach, you can take and tweak technology based on your requirements. You can also plug and play. And because of this COVID scenario, in terms of resources, it might be restrictive, it might be abundant. You can choose, as per your availability. And you can also measure and improve. That's the powerful things available. Data is emitted. Data is available across stakeholder. And with the data insights, probably you can do course correction also when launching next programs. That's the summary of this. So probably you can also leverage the Sunbird for your own programs. Thank you.
Right, thanks. Yeah, thanks, Rakesh. If you can just hold on to the slide also, and just hold on as well. There's a question for you. But before that, Namrita, if you can just pull you in. Two questions for you, Namrita. One is, a couple of times it was emphasized that, the Sunbird does enable multiple languages. So given the, obviously a country like India where there are, users of multiple languages, what is the experience in terms of, using the apps to discover content? Are there any lessons or, tips for the adopters on what is it that they should do so that they make discovery of learning content easy, especially in a multilingual environment?
Sure, Salim. So I think one of the things that we've learned from experience is that being able to navigate in a language that you understand is a very critical factor, right? So capturing that upfront, capturing which language the user is most comfortable in, and what are the preferences of the user in terms of the content that they're looking for upfront, helps to get easy discovery to that final content. And different users may come in with different points of view in terms of what they want, right? So I think our learning is capture those preferences upfront, and then allow for that navigation and allow those preferences to be changed easily as well. All
right. Okay. The second question is, you talked about some reference apps that could be available for the adopters. In terms of our experience, what is the time and effort it would take an adopter to, let's say, customize these reference apps in the context of their own organization or their own needs?
Right. So the reference apps that I talked about have been built keeping education domain in mind, but they can be easily customized, right, for any other type of domain. Now, the kind of customization you want to do will determine how long it takes to get you started. So if you're trying to use it out of the box, it could be just a couple of days to get it running, versus if you're trying to do a customization and you're just customizing, let's say, the UI, right? That might take you, let's say, a couple of weeks to get you started, versus the internal building blocks have been built as workflows. So you can pick and choose what workflows work for you. So I would say broadly, it could be anywhere from a couple of weeks to a couple of months, depending on the kind of customization you're really trying to go after.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Namrita. And Rakesh, the question for you is, so you obviously, you've talked in depth about the Diksha, success story using Sunbird, but from the collective experience, if, an adopter which is not in the education sector, how easy is it for them to, take Sunbird and, drive their human capability development, as well as, how long would it take to, put some of these success elements together?
Sure, Salil. So, Salil, as you know, capacity building training cut across sector. So in last 1 year, probably I came across domain expert from MSME, Agri, uh, public finance also, and they also have a similar challenge because of the current scenario and beyond COVID also. They're looking for a solution which is scalable, which can meet the learning needs of the stakeholders. I'll give you an example in agri sector. So I think only in UP, they're targeting training 2.3 crore farmers under extension services by agriculture. So training can be about production, post-production, post-harvesting, and also marketing. So government of UP probably can build a platform and meet the learning needs of these stakeholders, including farmers also. So yeah, I think this is relevant for across sectors.
Okay. Another question which has come from one of the attendees is that in case if there are a group of educational institutions, with let's say 3,000 students, would this recommendation or suggestion be that can they set up Sunbird for their own specific needs? Is that something that they could do?
Yeah, it's an open source. So probably anybody can go to GitHub and install Sunbird instance and create one. But again, do they have a capacity? Do they have a people available? Do some fine tuning? And obviously, if they belongs to a particular state, since every state is now tenant on Diksha, they can leverage that also. But yeah, this is available. They can also create their own tenant.
Okay. Last question for you, Rakesh, is, so you talked about that there was various other elements apart from the power and the capabilities of Sunbird. So what are those roles? What are those program roles or PMUs which are, typically required for, using Sunbird and, using its power for driving human capability development in one's organization or one sector?
Yeah, sorry. So as I mentioned, I think policy is very critical piece we need to look into. Okay, what your intent using this platform again, and do you want to use the all capabilities? So we have ministries, probably they say, okay, we have some pieces available. Probably I want to leverage registry, digital certification, or one or two microservices. So the power of the platform is purely unbundled. So you can use all or few also to build this. Yeah. So I think again it depends on the adopter requirement. It can be fine tuned.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Rakesh.